Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Josh Bowerly here, and this is another episode of the Entrepreneur's Playbook, where we help 7- and 8-figure businesses ignite their financial superpowers. Here with Ron Parisi, as always. Ron, how you doing today?
Wonderful, Josh. How you been?
I'm pretty good. I'm excited about today's topic. It's a little out of the scope of igniting financial superpowers and more of protecting another superpower, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, but it's super important. When recently did a post on this and about, why don't you tell the topic and then we can get into it.
Yeah, so we're going to discuss for mental health, just as an entrepreneur, protecting your mental health, because it is not only is an important subject, it's a subject that I think hits entrepreneurs more than the average person.
Yeah, like I was starting to say, like we did a post, it was a meme that one of my marketing folks came up with. And I don't know, the post was impactful on me. He created it by himself. And it's gotten a lot of interaction on social media. And I think both you and I, we should appreciate our perspective, the fact that in certain degrees, like, we have our own businesses, we're entrepreneurs, but on the flip side is we're also helping other entrepreneurs, and we can see a large swath of different entrepreneurs and the way we're both in coaching groups, and obviously our day in and day out life is with entrepreneurs and business owners. And I think it's important today, like we just talk about the rigors of entrepreneurship and just taking some time to really think about your own personal life and how you are treating yourself. And I think the unrealistic sort of demands or self-demands that we put on ourselves. And maybe I'll flip it over to you, but I just think there's a thing out there where, hey, if I want to be a successful entrepreneur, I got to be working 12, 16-hour days, 7 days a week. And this is what it takes, right? We hear all these stories of all these startup companies and who is it sleeping on the couch, or Elon Musk sleeping in the factories. And this is what it takes to be successful. But I don't know. I guess I challenge that. Just what are your thoughts here, Josh?
Yeah, it's funny because I think a lot of us get into entrepreneurship because of this time freedom and we want to control our schedules. And then you get in it and it's this weird, I think they even have a name for it called like hustle culture or whatever it is, right? Where it's like everyone is bragging about how much they're working, and it's just what I see this sign on so many people's walls when they're on videos: stop complaining, work harder. And yeah, there's obviously some truth to that, right? You've got to work hard and all that stuff. But I do think it gets to an unhealthy level for many of us, and we have to catch that and do something about it.
Yeah, I was just saying, I'm a big like Kobe Bryant fan, and what he projected about outworking all his competition. But I don't know, I think deep down, and I also read those Tim Grover books about MJ, like deep down, those guys took care of their body. They took care, they rested, they got their proper sleep. And I think that's like skipped over when people talk about the hours and hours it takes to be a professional and to be successful. I think as an entrepreneur, we really have to we can take a step back and be like, I'm telling you right now, like you can take care of yourself. You can take weekends off and still be successful. And I guess this is what I think about when I talk to my entrepreneurs and my clients, is that you don't need to be a seven day week person. And I think it's almost more important that you do take care of yourself and also take those breaks where you don't do anything about work. In my experience, it's yes, you need to work hard, but most importantly, you need to work smarter, right? You need to be more creative. You need to allow space in your brain to be creative, and working 12 hours, doing calls and answering emails. And these are things that are necessary for the business, but also do not allow you to be creative and create that next product or that next revenue stream or solution for your clients or for the market. So I think you need to really evaluate what you're doing. Maybe use some examples, Josh, of what you do to be creative. You're always on the cutting edge of everything that's coming out, whether it's in your real estate, whether now it's in your BOI business. But talk about like, how do you build time to be creative?
Yeah, and I think the thing to remember is there is going to be times where you have to put in that 16-hour day, or like you have a week where you just got to bust your butt and it just feels like nothing but work. But those should be short-term things. They should be temporary. They should be rare. And you, like you said, you've got to have that space and have a way to escape. And I don't know if I'm not one of those people that some people have gotten really good at. I have this system that I only do this at this time. And I haven't really gotten good at that.
Block, yeah.
And it's taken a lot of time. When I first started CP on Fire, I would spend tax seasons working 16-hour days. So it took me a lot of time to figure out that's not a good way to go about it. I don't know that I have any direct advice. I think it's finding, so I got this little pickleball paddle here. That's my escape. And I run sometimes. And so I think you do have to find those things that you enjoy that you can spend time doing. And then it's just deliberately doing it, right? It's turning off work. And I think the hard part is all these things that have made it so much easier to be an entrepreneur are also the things that make it so much harder to escape that life, right? Like we have our email at the tip of our phone and we're working from home a lot of times. And it's just, I could literally never leave my home office and never escape work if I wanted to. And there's days that it's really tempting to do that. So I think it's trying to find that balance of using these tools that make it easier and also being able to turn them off when it needs to be turned off.
Yeah, how many times it's like a weekend, right? And you're like, oh, I just want to check something on, say, YouTube or some social. And next thing you see something about work, right? It's that maybe not even like a client issue or a serious work issue, but it's to improve yourself about work or to learn about a new technique or something like that. And you find yourself watching it like on a Saturday or Sunday and you're like, it's just always, as entrepreneurs, right? I always say that our brains are always on. And it's very difficult to walk that down. But I think it's important right now. The post that he put together, it's your family, it's your health. There's a lot of implications for you being 100% dedicated to your job. And I just want to bring it to everybody's attention, right? It doesn't have to be that way. There's plenty of people who are successful who have a wonderful family life, who have a lot of friends, who are able to go out with their friends and take care of themselves, whether go to the gym, go outside. So like it just, again, I think it's important for everybody who's listening on this is take the time to really evaluate what you're doing to yourself, that white space, that creative time, that rejuvenation time, because like everything that I feel like we're being influenced by is work to be successful. And I'm saying doesn't necessarily need to be that way. And really, I think it's important time. It's an important piece of the pie is really to take that time and evaluate that.
Yeah. And I'll give you a good example of someone I've seen doing it. It's a client that I worked with for a long time, Amy Porterfield. I just saw she made a social media post that she did 100 million last year, super successful. And a couple of years ago, to force herself and her employees to get away from the job, she started doing mandatory, we don't work Friday through Sunday. Like they don't touch work Friday through Sunday. And the business is incredibly successful, is growing every year. And she's just mandating that there's no need for us to work more than 4 days a week and we can get it done.
Yeah. So it's out there, but it's hard to get there without being creative and without being really creating something that's really novel and special. And I think that it's hard to create something novel and special 10 o'clock at night when you're finally clocking off of work. The one thing I wanted to mention, there's a book, it's kind of got a lousy name. It's called The Road Less Stupid by Cunningham. And he talks about thinking time, and he talks about just getting your pad and just sitting there 45 minutes to an hour, a couple times a week to really think about your job, or not your job, but your business, your role, again, what's coming down the pipe, your future. So that's something that I do on a pretty regular basis, at least once a week, is just a blank piece of paper and just get everything out of my head. And it's amazing when you actually get it out of your head, the ping pong ball stops going all around. And then two is that some of my best insights were during that time. So I think that's maybe just a small thing that you can build into your routine. Is just block out an hour with you and a pad and just do a brain dump of everything that's going on and put everything in perspective and really assess what are the important things that you want to work on for the next week. And that's been successful for me. So something maybe just to plant in everybody's ear to do. So
I think some of the best ideas come when you're doing absolutely nothing related to work. Like for me, when I'm running, that's some of the best ideas I've come in my business have been, I'm just running, not thinking anything about work. And then boom, something hits you. And I'll have to stop and text my wife, remember this. And just
I got like Apple Notes, right? Apple Notes dictating something quick. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I think that's the time you get away, and that's when those big ideas come. If you're sitting there grinding at your computer doing nothing but work, in my experience, you're not going to get many ideas that way. You're just doing busy work.
So, and then two, you'll be successful for a short period of time, but that duration, it's always, I talk about monthly pivots, right? Monthly pivots. That duration, you could be successful for a relatively short period of time during that heavy work cycle. And there's going to be times when that, like you mentioned, when it's necessary, but for a long-term success, you have to build it into your program.
For sure. And I think that the only true way to make this happen is to relinquish control in a lot of the things you're doing, right? That's so hard for a lot of us to do, but for me, it was, okay, I don't have to prepare every tax return that comes into this. I can get a qualified tax preparer that does a huge chunk of these, and that significantly frees me up to do some of this other stuff and not work at all. So
that's huge, like that letting go of the reins, right? But I guess let's just, before we end it, Josh and I are both, right, CPAs, we're accountants. We're not anything near mental health professionals, but I just think from our perspective, I thought it would be an interesting topic to share with the group. Anybody listening, our entrepreneurs we coexist here with, it would be an interesting topic just to stop and think about and see what you can apply to your life. So thanks, Josh. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And
any last words?
If other people out there that are listening to this, they have great things they're doing to do this and maintain their mental health and get away from work, let us know, because I'm sure, I don't know about you, but I'm not always great about this either still, even knowing how important it is.
Yeah, as I say, this is me, the preacher preaching to himself here.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it. Yeah, another podcast in the bank, and we're definitely getting some traction here, so I'm excited, and always a pleasure being with you, Josh, so thanks.
Yeah, thanks for having me. We'll see you next time.
All right, sounds good. Next time.